Hello and welcome to an edition of the Crimestoppers of North Central Iowa. We do this every month with local law enforcement. And today we have the interim chief of police in Clear Lake. His name is Mike Colby. Hello, Chief Colby. I can call you that, right?
You can call me that. That works.
Yeah. All right. The
How are
interim
you guys
chief.
doing this morning?
Yeah.
Good.
Doing all right. Doing all right. We are anxious for the 4th of July, just like everybody else is. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. So you're the interim chief. Now, is there a way that you could be the chief officially?
Yeah, so the city, Chief Roth, which you may or may not know, took the job out in Windsor Heights as their new police chief.
Right.
And so he gave his notice, and the city appointed me as interim chief for the time being while they sort through what they want to do for an application process and vetting process for the next position there.
Okay. All right. And so there you go. So, I mean, but what the process of getting you or another chief, you to step up or another chief, will that take a little while or what?
Yeah, it could take a couple of months. The city's got to go through, and they want to, and even I want to make sure they make the right choice. It's a very important position where it comes with a lot of responsibility, and it's not just managing the police department. There's some relationships there with the community that we serve and other agencies around our area that we work with, and it's a very important position here for the city and the community. And so we want to make sure, and I want to make sure that the city uh, makes the right decision, and if it is me, that makes sure it's the right decision for me as well too. So um, this is a good time for kind of me to test the waters and them to do the same thing and have good work relationship with the elected officials and the city administration, and I think they would say the same thing. And so this is a good time for us to see how things go and how we can bolster that relationship.
How long have you been with the force there in Clear Lake?
I started in 2016, so
Okay.
been here for quite a while. I won't say quite a while; it's all relative, but 2016 to now. And before that, I was with the City of Clyde Police Department. Started there in 2001, so I was there for quite a while too.
Is that where you're from or where are you from?
Yeah, I grew up in West Des Moines.
Okay.
Went to Valley High School, graduated there. Went to school in Florida Atlantic University for marine biology down in Boca Raton, Florida for a little bit, and then came back for the summer. Was looking for a summer job and kind of fell into law enforcement. My school got out earlier than the Iowa school, so I didn't have any friends that were back from college and looking for something to do one night. And I walked into the Clyde PD to see if I could do a ride along because I'd done one in high school for a government project. And a good friend of mine was working at the dispatch center that night, so I sat with him and told him I was looking for a job, something to do for the summer. And he told me that Urbandale PD was hiring a dispatcher. I knew zero about dispatching. So I figured, hey, I'll go apply for a summer job, and actually ended up getting hired for a full-time midnight dispatcher. And that just I never went back to Florida and started doing that as a career. I went to school while I was working full-time, and since then I got an associate's in criminal justice. I got a bachelor's from William Penn in criminal justice, and then I have my master's from Drake University in leadership development.
Harry, the nice thing about this is I've never ran into him before.
Say it again.
I said the nice thing is I've never ran into you before.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it that way.
There you go. This is a good way to meet.
Right, exactly.
Mike, do you have a family then? Did you bring them
I
up?
do. Married, 3 kids. I got a son that's a senior at John Brown University in Arkansas, and we got a young lady that'll be a sophomore, and then I got another one that'll be in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
Great. So you obviously you love Clear Lake, right? I mean,
We do.
yeah.
So funny story. To side note there, I grew up coming to Clear Lake. My family's got a house here on the lake, and my kids are 5th generation coming up to the same house too. So it's been a second home for
Wow.
5 generations now in our family. So it wasn't really. We moved away from West Point where our home was, but we didn't really. We moved to our second home really. So it wasn't a big of a shock as many people would have moving a couple hours away from their hometown.
Yeah. So how many guys do you have on the force now?
So we are authorized strength of 16 sworn,
Okay.
16 officers, 6 full-time dispatchers, communications supervisor, and then we got a part-time community service officer, which new position for us. Just started this summer, which has been a great addition. And then we have a part-time records clerk as well.
And nobody can take vacation during the 4th of July, right?
Well, we ask them not to. It makes we're busy, but yeah, we have a really good group of people here that want to come to work, that enjoy being at work over the 4th. They enjoy being up in the carnival, meeting people, and just being in the community and um, being out there doing their job. So, to be honest with you, we have a great team this summer going forward, and we had to probably turn away a couple people that wanted to come work some extra hours just because we didn't need them. So
Oh, wow.
that's a good change for us to not have to
Yeah.
force the people to come in as opposed to turning people away.
So it's all hands on deck then for this
It is
next 5
started
days.
yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you're starting to see loads of people coming in. And anytime you add more to your population, that means more activity. And more activity can mean, well, some bad
Trouble.
things too once in a while. Trouble, yeah, sometimes or whatever. So, yeah, let's talk about the 4th a little bit. So, what do you guys do to get prepared for all this?
We I've already started planning next year's 4th of July. I tell you, so it's a
Oh,
year out in advance.
nice.
We take a good look at everything we did the year before and years before that, and we evaluate that and we make notes on tweaks and changes we'll do for the next year. And I made a little note yesterday about something I want to just tweak real minor for next year just to make it easier for those coming in and out of the area, coming up to the uptown to the carnival, coming to the fireworks. And so we'll take notes this entire 4th of July season for us for next year. And so we did the same thing last year. So a couple months ago, I went through my notes again and started planning for, our. If you look at our Facebook page, we have a public map we put out for all the road closures and reserve parking, and so we can get all the workers that are coming up to the
Sure.
carnival and the vendors and everybody in, so they can serve everybody that's coming up to celebrate. And then we take a hard look at our statistics too, as to see when we actually need the manpower and when we need the resources. So we're not just throwing stuff at the event blindly. And we look at those stats, and then we find our peak times, and we try and match what we have seen historically for the resources. So we're not overexerting on resources and are putting resources where they're not needed.
So, Chief, what is the rule this time of the year? Fireworks, you're going to hear a lot of them. I already started hearing them just a couple of days ago. What are the time limits
for me?
Yeah. So what's the time limit? When can you fire these things off? And certain days or certain times? What do you got in Clear Lake?
That's a hot topic. So you can't shoot fireworks off in Clear Lake anytime. There's no exemption. There's no dates or times.
Oh, really?
They're illegal in Clear Lake by city ordinance. The state did modify the fireworks, the state law, to where they can sell them in Clear Lake, and the state has said that the cities can't prevent them from being sold. And so it's kind of a conundrum that we're in, because the state says you can sell them here in Clear Lake, but then the city has asked, has an ordinance that you can't shoot them off. So there's a bit of a mixed message there, but it's not a mixed message coming from the city. The city's been very clear and all along about not having fireworks here. There's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, anybody can go on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or any of those social media platforms. You can see mishaps on fireworks, and oftentimes some of those mishaps can be pretty severe, injuries, loss of property. And that's something we want to prevent. Clear Lake's a very old town. A lot of the buildings are very close together, and so there's a higher risk, I think, in our community, the way just it's platted out and stuff, for some of the things that go up and pop in the air and shower down sparklers, and for fire and some injuries there, as opposed to maybe a new planned community where the houses are spaced out a little bit more and there's less tree coverage, and there's more spaces and stuff there too. So I think Clear Lake's got a pretty good ordinance for us, and I think it's the right move to not have the fireworks in town, just for like we talked about, so many people come in town. There's so many people out walking around, and campers, and it's just not the smartest thing for us, or safest thing for us.
So are you going to jail, or are you going to get a big old fine if you do that?
It's a fine. It's a citation. Yep.
Okay.
Speaking of citation, well, that's okay.
$250. It's not
$250.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
That's not cheap. No.
Now, do you confiscate the rest of the fireworks that I have? I mean, that Harry has?
That's a case by case basis. The officer got to look at. So
okay.
Yep.
Come on, we're friendly, Jay.
The ordinance doesn't let him do it, though.
That's right. Yeah. Speaking of citations, we're gonna ask you, and I have a couple of guesses here. Jay, you give us your guesses too. But if the number one citation that's written during the 4th of July time period, okay, it's either got to be public intox or parking. I'm thinking. But if I had to pick one, probably public intox. But I don't. What do you think, Jay?
See,
Jay, what's your vote?
I think it's DUIs or the fireworks fines. People shooting off fireworks.
Which one?
Parking's going to take it by a landslide.
See?
Yeah.
Because people are trying to park everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think I think we do a really good job of posting that stuff. We push it out on social media. We put it out to the media sources, our maps where you can't park, and we have signs and sign galore of where you can park. And there's 3 different types of parking areas that we do. We do the ADA parking. So a lot of the ADA parking that the city has year round gets blocked because of the road closures around City Park and the Carnival. So we add some additional ADA parking on First Avenue North at North 3rd between 3rd and 4th. And we do again on South 3rd Street, just south of Main Avenue. There's a 2 whole blocks there for ADA parking. Excuse me. Then we have permit parking only. So we issue some permits in certain areas for some vendors that come in, and we have some reserved lots for them. For the Evans United crew, so they come in so they can staff all their events at the carnival, and they do a great job of managing that. And then we have some residential areas on the North Lakeview area that we allow permit parking only because a lot of those residents, like we talked earlier with the fireworks, Clear Lake was platted out before everybody had big Suburbans and Hummers and all these big cars, and it was back when it was horse-drawn carriage and Model Ts, and those cars took up a little bit less spots than the ones do now. So they don't have garages, don't have big driveways. Right. So we give them some parking there so they can actually access their home. So if people just pay attention to what the sign says, it's pretty easy. The do not enters, the road closed, no parking, and the permit parking only. Just and know where you're at. And like you said, don't park in somebody's yard. Don't park blocking somebody's driveway.
Right.
Don't park in an area that says no parking, and you'll just be fine.
Well, speaking of that, just a second here, Jay, on the parking thing. I've always wanted to ask you, what about the business owners? And they have public parking, okay? The business owners that have public parking. Mm-hmm. And do they care that let's pick on a grocery store, for example, okay? Do they care that you're in their parking lot, even though you're not inside that grocery store?
So the public parking might be a little misnomer on how it is, what that is. It's not really public for everybody. That's still a private lot, and they still have the ability to control who parks there and who doesn't park on their lot, just like you can in your driveway. And so if they wanted to,
if they want
to for customers only, and they can do it for customers only. If they want to charge somebody to park there, pay a premium to park there as opposed to a public lot that's actually owned and managed by the city or parking on a public street. They have the ability to do that. It's still private property, even though it appears to be open to the public. So
go in and buy something. Just go in and buy something,
Several of them have time limits. So, like a 30-minute or an hour or whatever parking that they manage. So you can't just go and buy a stick of gum and then park there for the whole day.
Yeah, that's not profitable.
I always wondered about that. And I know that, all the great business owners in Clear Lake, they realize that, there's a ton of people that come to town, and they probably just say, they just know. They just know that they're going to get a lot of people out there. But I suppose if they wanted to monitor it, they probably could. But
yeah, and there's the Chamber of Commerce does a great job of working with the businesses uptown and all across Clear Lake to make this a good event for everybody, not just the visitors and not just the residents and not just the businesses. They do a great job. Stacy and Trish and their whole team up there are wonderful to work with. We work with them in our planning for the July 4th and all the other activities that we have year round. And I think they do a really good job. And a lot of the businesses know that there may be some small inconveniences, but in the long run, it's good for them. It's good for the community as a whole.
Yep. Chief, back to the parking. I can't remember if Clear Lake has this or not with the golf carts and ATVs or side-by-sides. Is that allowed in Clear Lake downtown this time of the year?
Golf carts and UTVs can be driven in town. They have to have a permit issued by the police department that comes with an inspection. There's no fee for a UTV or a side by side, like you said,
Mhm.
as long as they meet all the requirements by code. And then they can drive from sun up to sunset, but they can't be on the road after sunset, and they can't park on the street after sunset either.
Is
So
there is there designated parking areas for those type of vehicles or not?
they are just like a vehicle,
Okay.
just like your Tahoe or your Ford Taurus. They got parking the same rules. And you can't park the main place you couldn't park your normal car at. They have to abide by the same rules of the road and all the traffic laws, just like a regular vehicle.
Okay.
Good. Chief, what's your favorite part of the 4th of July?
When it's over, probably.
Yeah.
That might be a close second. I really do enjoy the people coming into town
Yeah.
and the uh, the feeling you get that Clear Lake is really thriving as a community.
Right.
When the trucks roll in to set up for the carnival and we start closing the roads down and people start coming up and people want to be in Clear Lake as opposed to other places, and that's probably my favorite part. And that feeling comes and goes all year round with all of our special events and stuff. And so I think that's my favorite part. It's nice when it's over, only because you can take a sigh of relief, say, hey, we did good, we can learn, we can do better next time. But I like being busy. I think a lot of people here that like being busy like to work, and it's fun to see that many people in Clear Lake
Yeah.
that come here. It's
Really
Clear
is.
Lake is a destination city, and we take that to heart, and we want to
It's a
provide.
resort, right?
Huh?
I mean, it's a resort, right?
Yeah, it's a resort town, So um, we want people to come here. We want people to have a great time while they're here. But we've asked our officers to still enforce the ordinances and the laws, and those are to keep people safe, and so we expect them to do that too. So, uh,
That reminds me. I wanted to
yeah,
ask you want to say something about alcohol in the park? And also, is there anything new this year that people need to be aware of? I mean, talk about alcohol and pets to start off with.
yeah. So pets can't be in the park. Dogs can't be in the park for the 4th of July. That's again by city ordinance, and that's just to. It's such a huge amount of people there, and we don't want there to be an issue with two dogs or somebody getting bit or stepping on a
Sure.
dog and accidentally getting hurt. Can't smoke or vape in the park either. And then the alcohol. So you can have beer and wine when it's sold up there, but it's got to be inside the closed portions of the park. So once you leave the open area of the park out in the public street, you can't consume any alcohol too. So that area is covered under some liquor licenses there that allows them to do that. But you can't take your beer in the park and walk home and drink it on the way home down the sidewalk or on the street. That becomes
That's a
illegal.
pumpkin
The
top.
chamber's got some good signage up there that says no alcohol behind this point to help remind people that as well.
So can you bring your own alcohol to the park, or you got to get it from the
You,
local?
you can bring a closed container of beer or
Okay.
wine into the
Okay.
park, open it, and consume it there, but you can't consume it outside of the park, and you can't have like hard liquor out walking
Sure.
around either.
Yeah.
So even your mixed drinks, you can't have margaritas and whatever with whatever hard liquor would be in there.
Basically, I guess a rule of thumb would be keep it inside the vendors.
Yep,
That's
100%.
a good rule right there, right? Just keep it
Yep.
inside the vendors.
Vodka lemonades are pretty good.
Can't have them in the park though. Hard
Oh.
liquor.
I didn't say I was gonna. Well,
Yeah.
But there's plenty of places uptown that would love to serve you a vodka and lemonade that you can go and partake in and
Yeah.
and patronage a lot of the restaurants and bars up there. There's some good places to get some good food and beverage up there. They would love to have you.
Oh yeah.
But if
I'll
you
tell 'em
have
you're coming, Jay.
What's that?
I'll tell them you're coming.
Okay.
but if they go into a bar, you want to stay in the bar. You
Yep.
can't.
But you can't go out.
take it
Yeah.
out of that bar.
Yep.
No.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very nice to know. All right. Well, I think that covers 4th of July. We've talked quite a bit about all that stuff. And
Let me get one more plug in for you real quick. All right.
yeah.
Okay.
So hey, we partnered with the sheriff's office, the Mason City PD, for the unticketing campaign this summer. And what it is, it's unticketing.org. We've been asked by the Iowa State University Extension Office. They have a little bit of a experiment going on, and so their experiment, in a nutshell, is people will drive safe if there's a positive reward, as opposed to driving safe with a negative reward. I.e., The negative reward being a citation, ticket, or arrest.
Right.
And the positive reward is if people want to go and register their vehicle at unticketing.org and an officer sees them doing something safe, we enter their license plate, the date and time, and what they were doing safe. And then Iowa State draws 2 plates every 2 weeks, and those winners get gift cards to Quick Star, Cabin Coffee, a couple other places around town for driving safe.
Nice.
So they did a driving study before this, and they'll do another driving survey after to see if there was a positive influence and people driving in Saragordo County, specifically Clear Lake, Mason City area too. So if you're not registered, register, and maybe you can win.
And
Where's that?
Yeah,
What
what's
is
Unticketing.org.
unticketing.org.
I'm writing this
Yep.
thing down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jay's
there's a
hoping,
website.
Jay's
Go
hoping to
check it
get
out.
he hope he gets get out of jail free cards like Banana.
And
Right.
I'll,
Yeah.
and I'll challenge to Mason City and to Saragordo. We've had more winners from Clear Lake than those 2 places so far. So Clear Lake's must
Really?
have some good drivers
Okay.
Really? Wow.
Is this going to be an ongoing thing
all summer.
all summer? Awesome. Very
Yep.
good.
Unticketing.com.
Yeah.
.org. O-R-G.
Or ORG. Okay.
No worry.
Go
By
check
the way,
that
if
page.
anybody wants to, we haven't for the people that are listening to this as like a podcast. Remember the 800 number for Crime Stoppers of North Central Iowa is 800-383-0088. Or you can even simply put crimestoppersnorthcentraliowa.com when you open up a browser. They even have a Facebook page as well. And you can get your information to them. And, and I don't know how those tips come in for you. I'm sure that obviously in a well-populated time like 4th of July, you probably get a lot of tips besides a lot of calls, I would think.
Yeah. So if you see a crime in progress and it's somebody can get hurt, or there's a possible for injury or something, call 911. If it's something that you're reporting for a report, call us at our local PD number 641-357-2186. And if you have a tip on a crime that happened or some information, you can call Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous on any 3 of those methods to report something. Crime Stoppers, 911, or to our admin lines. And most of the calls we get come from the admin lines, but Crime Stoppers has been great for us on solving some crimes in the past, and we appreciate the public's help on all that stuff. The old adage, if you see something, say something.
Right.
There's a lot of truth to that, and we encourage people to call. Don't be afraid to call. Don't think, hey, this is what somebody should call about. Call us. I mean, that's what we're here for, 24/7, 365. So you never know what your information may or may not help us solve a crime and help a victim out.
I got one more question for you, Chief.
I'll give you 2 even. Go ahead.
Okay. The businesses for this, I'm still thinking about this unticketing.org. What if are you looking for businesses to donate anything for a prize of good driving?
Yeah. So Iowa State Extension Office is managing that. John Shaw there, and we've had several businesses donate. I think we have prizes set through the rest of the summer. But hey, if there's a business that wants to come along and partner and donate, we would love to have them. They can reach out to myself, Chief Brinkley. Oh, my lights went off in my office. Hold on. There we go.
My.
And the motion sensitive. And they can reach out to any of us, and we can get them in touch and do that. And if anybody's got questions about it, go to the website. They can go to the sheriff's office, Mason City's, or the Clear Lake PD's social media sites, and there's links there. And there's a QR code you can scan right from your screen on your phone to get you registered.
Because Harry, think about that. Why not? Here you go. Here's a certificate to throw axes.
Yeah, imagine that.
I'm gonna let you go throw a weapon.
All that stuff. There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, Mike Colby, the interim chief of Clear Lake Police, thank you so much for our conversation here today. I think we've learned a bit about you and of course what happens here on 4th of July. Of course, I encourage everybody in Clear Lake, and I would think this would be default status, to lock your cars and lock your doors, especially. And I would think that Clear Lake residents know that, but I know it's a nice, friendly community. So it's like, it's easy just to let things go sometimes, but I'm sure you do have once in a while break-ins. Why make it easy for them, right? For, any person to do that. And then also, you'd probably do have a tendency to have some vehicles stolen at this time of year as well.
Yeah, I mean, do your routine. 9 o'clock, lock yourself up. Don't leave valuables sitting out in the car where they can be seen. Don't leave your keys in your car. Just don't make it easy for somebody. A lot of those crimes are um, crimes of opportunity, and so if we don't give them the opportunity, the crime doesn't happen, and we all stay safe, and we all have a great Fourth of July.
A lot of good
Sounds
concert stuff going on here in the course in the park. Is that all wrapped up by 10 or 11? Is there a noise
I
over
think I think 11 they're kind of wrapped up, and then the carnival closes at midnight.
Carnival closes at midnight. Good enough. Okay. And that
sounds
your
good.
job probably really kicks in, doesn't it?
Opens today. Get up there.
All right, there you
Yeah.
go. You going any rides, Chief?
Me? I might be on one or two. I got kids. They drag me around.
There, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, and have a safe time, and hope everything goes great for Clear Lake. Of course, we didn't talk too much about fireworks, really, but that's over the lake, of course, on
On the 4th. Yeah, they'll be out on the lake. I think they've got, I want to say 6 barges of fireworks going on. And it's probably, to be honest with you, one of the best 4th of July fireworks shows you're going to see in Iowa up there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat having the carnival in the background, fireworks out over the lake, and with the lake out there, it's beautiful. Weather's looking to be great all week. A couple of small chances of some rain and storms, but
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a great 4th of July. Love to see a lot of people out here. Let's have a record year with a number of people up here.
Lots of boats on the lake too, but you guys don't do that. That's more of the DNR.
That's the DNR. Yep.
Yeah.
And we help them when they need help and stuff. But
Sure.
people just need to be conscious that when you're out in the sun on the boat, and you can have heat stroke, and the alcohol can take a little more effect than it would if you're sitting in an air conditioned home. And just to be safe, has a designated driver, designated boat driver, and make sure you're making wise decisions.
So I usually state beach and city beach. You a little bit warmer water there, with all the people that are in the water.
It's a little shallower in State Beach. It's sandier bottom, and
Yeah,
it's a little bit shallower there if you go out lake where it's 15, 20 feet deep.
yeah, and it's warmer water.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, one more quick, unrelated note to 4th of July, because we got
Go for it.
Well, we got something from the sheriff's office yesterday, and and it's a problem all over the country, of course. Do you deal with any scammers? If
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of
so
scams going on, especially
there is. A lot of
recently. We heard about the assessor's office here recently.
yeah, a lot of that stuff, with the use of technology, calling somebody or sending an email with a fake email address, or making a phone call and being able to use a voice over IP phone number that's not real. And we used to ask people to ask a lot of questions, be curious when somebody calls you or sends you an email or shows up at your door, and ask for identification. And if you have any inkling of something not being right, give us a call. We'll come out and we'll help you out there. And never is anybody going to ask you for social security number or any of those other personal information over the phone. A lot of those notifications will come like from the federal agencies via mail and everything. So, just be conscious of that. And if you have questions, call us. There's a lot of resources online too. You can go to the Iowa Attorney General's office, and we've got stuff here. And if you have questions, we love to have an officer down and talk to you and evaluate that stuff with you.
You do get calls on that, though, right? I mean,
every week,
all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're hard to find, I'm sure, but you got to report them.
Yeah, report them. It does a couple things there for you, and you can kind of start a digital passport for yourself, reporting that, and keep your information secure.
You got it. All right, Chief. Well, thank you so much. And we'll be seeing you at some of the Crimestoppers meetings here in the future.
And I'll see you up at the 4th of July, right?
There you go.
there you go.
You're going to be there. I'll be there a couple of different times.
Sounds good.
All
Love
right.
to see you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you guys have a good day.
You betcha. You too. Crimestoppers in North Central Iowa. Go to 800-383-0088 if you want to call them, or crimestoppersnorthcentraliowa.com. Remember, if you do see a crime in progress and your tip leads to an arrest, you can be rewarded financially. So it's good that they do that. So thank you so much, and have a safe 4th.
Thank you, sir.